everyone. So today's lip color, because apparently that's how we're going to start all of our videos, is the one that I was telling you about the other day. It is the tiny little baby. So this is the regular size. Look at how freaking itty bitty this is, but it's the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. So this is the size of a regular lipstick, and this tiny little freaking baby, look at how little that is. Like, honestly, I don't think it's translating on camera how incredibly tiny it is, but it makes you feel like you're going to break off the tip of it by applying it because it's so freaking small. But like, I can't remember if this was a 100-point perk from Sephora or what, but I definitely know that I didn't pay for it, so I can't be mad. And I don't know why I thought that like this color wasn't for me, but I'm freaking obsessed. So definitely getting it for free and then letting me know that I love it, and then I can use it. I mean, honestly, it's been lasting me for a minute. Now I would feel comfortable and confident to spend the money, because I don't remember how much her lipsticks are. I'm gonna say $35. Yeah, it's just the tiny little baby Pillow Talk, and I love it. And so I paired it with the same lip liner that I've told you about every time I've been on here, Revlon Nude. That's it. Just these two things. That's what I've got on my lips. So I actually tried to film this in my dining room, which is where I do my devotions every day, because I just wanted to show you my setup. But as a reminder, I don't have any fancy equipment, and I could not get my phone to attach to anything, to stay up to whatever. And the last time that I tried to film with the bottom of my phone, like literally sitting on something, you couldn't hear me at all. Like, you could hear every other word, if that. So I just said, you know what? I know that my phone sticks to my mirror, so we're just going to take everything from there into here, and we're going to show you our setup. So I actually don't know when, at some point I had done a like Bible collection video, and I had separately done a like walk through my Bible bag video, and I had a bunch of stuff in there, and I still use pretty much everything. Like, there's not been a big difference. It's just that the sheer amount of stuff that I had overwhelmed me. So it would make me, I found myself not actually writing notes, not actually using stickers, washi tape, because there were too many options, right? And it was irritating, inconvenient, I don't know the right word, to lug it everywhere. Like, there was just never like a good setup. There was never a good place. And so it was just easier to not. And then I was deep cleaning months ago, definitely back in 2024. I don't know, November, December, and found an old Bible bag that I had that at the time didn't super work for me. And now I love it. And it's my favorite. So basically what I'm showing you today is what I'm using to read through the Bible this year. My Bible bag. And basically just how much smaller everything is. It's still a lot. It's not small. I definitely take up a portion of our kitchen table with this. But this, I was able to narrow it down to this is what works for me. And this is what I use consistently every day. And it's all in its same packaging. And I can just pull it out, throw it back in, put it on the chair. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the Bible recap. And my sister got this for me for my birthday last year, which is in July. And I was reading through a different Bible in a year, so I did not start it. But I knew that I was really curious about it because I've heard so many good things. And so I kept it right there, as I said, where I do my devotions, and waited until I was done with last year's reading, which was actually kind of mid-December. So I started this a little bit early, and I've been loving it. I do love it. I highly recommend it. I'm going to go through it more than one time. Excuse me. The only caveat that I want to give you is this is not actually the Bible. She may quote the Bible, but these are the opinions of a person. Okay. So there have been some times, and it definitely stuck out to me the most in Genesis, and either I got over it or I stopped noticing discrepancies. Her opinion, I don't always agree with. Like, she'll say blah, 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 this references this. And I'm like, my study shows me that this has referenced that. Or there will be, this could metaphorically be because of, and I'm like, or it could be literally what it said. Like, I don't know. So just Genesis for some reason threw me off. I literally almost quit. I'll be completely honest. But But then I was like, there's so much, it's one of those, you keep the meat and spit out the bones situations. And there's so much meat in this that I was receiving other things and I was really liking it. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to, when I come across something that I don't agree with, I can either just sit there and say, meh, skip. Or I can study it out and be like, why don't I agree with this? And da, 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 da. But either way, I don't have to look at this and be like, oh, she said this and I don't know that I believe that. This is a heretic. No. Nothing was that serious, okay? Nothing whatsoever. So I have really been enjoying it, especially after Genesis. So I really, really like it. I'll show you just a random day. So this is the full day. You have 2 pages always. It shows you my bookmark just fell out. It shows you the chapters that you're supposed to read that day. It then gives a post. You read your Bible first, and then you read this after you finished reading whatever chapters it told you. So then this kind of catches you up on what you just read, and then it gives a God shot. And it's just really good. Obviously it's a quick read. It's just 2 pages, so it doesn't add too much time to your daily reading. And I have Kingfolk. I think that's their Instagram name. Kingfolk. Folk. They sell these little honeycombs that I thought were so freaking cute. And I thought that this would encourage me to stay in the Word. It's a daily thing that I can check off that I did it. And it's not just like a check off box. It's cute. By the end of the year, it'll be a whole rainbow. Last week, obviously, for the first time in 3 months, I had some black days where we were not in the Word. But aside from that, I just color in a little bubble every day with one of the highlighters that I'm using in this book and in my Bible. So I'm excited to see how this will look at the end of the year. This is unrelated, but do you guys remember this book? Like, this was my favorite book of childhood. And it's the most, I don't want to say niche, but like, I feel like nobody knows what I'm talking about when I reference this book. Underrated. It was a sleeper, but it was freaking fantastic. So I found this with my sister, the same sister that got me this. We were in Barnes & Noble a little bit ago and I saw this and I was like, have to have. So now it's my little bookmark for the Bible recap so that I can stay on my day. So I put the bookmark and the honeycomb in my Bible recap, and that way I feel like it stays flatter. It's a bit more secure than if I put it in my Bible where I'm flipping kind of all around. So that is thing 1. Also, I'm going to show you guys a stamp coming up, and I stamp every page for the day that I actually read it, because as I said, I'm not, like, today's not calendar day 110. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a little bit ahead. So I put the actual date that I read every page in here. I don't have enough room over here. Hold on. I'm trying to put this back in such a way that I don't mess it up. Okay, so then we have my Bible bag. And in comparison to my face, this is still going to look pretty big, but it is a third of the size of the other Bible bag that I was using. It was just ridiculous. It was a monstrosity. I'm sure some people... No, I don't think anybody needs to carry around one that's that big. I'm sure that you can. I'm sure that, especially if you're doing like legitimate Bible journaling, if you're doing art in your Bible, sure, you need all the extra supplies. But for just reading through the Bible, taking the notes that I want to remember, the revelations that God gave to me, highlighting important things, I don't need all that. So this was it says make beautiful things on the bottom. And I want to say... There we go. Illustrated Faith. I always want to call them Daily Grace, but that's not what they are. So in the one of the front pockets, I have a receipt that doesn't belong there. You guys, I have stickers from Kingfolk, and I have my little notebook, and then I have a pad of paper. This pad of paper I got from Amazon, and I got it specifically for the top part. I write little notes inside my Bible all of the time. Notes that are big enough to need this, very rare. So I didn't want like an actual planner or journal or something to where most of the pages would be empty, but I wanted something where I could easily distinguish what the day was and then add my little notes. And yes, I could obviously just write the date on the top, but since I stamp the date in my Bible, I just thought this went better with the stamp, so whatever. So this is an example of something you don't have to have, but I thought was really cute. So I've got my little notebook to take more notes in. I've got this, which it's just you just tear one off and then I put it in my Bible. And then I've got my little stickers. I will tell you, this pocket I use the least. These are I want to have them for just in case, but I don't use them every single day. The other pocket, because there's a pocket on the outside of both sides, has my gel highlighters and my regular highlighters. I use these every single day. So these highlighters are from Mr. Pen. You can see on the back, they're the aesthetic highlighters. I put a Diverse Bee little Sharpie pen in here. I put a completely random Sterling Land Title Agency pen that I found somewhere in here because I love how this writes. And then I put a pencil in here. So those are the 3 pens that I use always in my Bible. And then, as I said, these highlighters I use in the Bible recap. For me, these are way too heavy to use in your actual Bible. Bleed through might be too strong of a term, but like definite shadowing, if I turn the page, I can see exactly where I highlighted, and that drives me up a wall. But these are perfect for like regular book pages, and I just love how bright they are and all the things. Okay, this is my second set because I used a set last year all year every day, and so I ran out of some of the colors, and then the other ones were just getting dry-ish, so I went ahead and bought a new set this year. And then this is the exact set that I bought one of my friends too. I love these. These are very cheap. If I can find the link on Amazon, I'll put it somewhere. To be clear, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Go Title? Is it Got Ideal? I don't know. There's really nothing on their Amazon page that tells you how to pronounce this, but that's neither here nor there. So I really like these. Once again, caveat, last year I was using my, the Daily Walk Bible. I was trying to say the Daily Bread, and I was like, that's not right. Excuse me, the Daily Walk Bible. And the pages are very, very, very thin. So I was using these highlighters, and at first, they do not bleed through. So I was just going, right? And then it's like October, November, I'm in the New Testament. I wanted to look something back up from the Old Testament. So I scrolled back and I said, bleed through everywhere. Like, it's so bad. My husband has that Bible right now at work, so I can't show you. But like, it's like the longer it soaked into the paper, it like soaked through the other side. However, I was not careful with these. Okay, like I was like, that's a good one. That's a word. Like I was pressing hard, and I have this weird thing. Let me see if I can show you. I'll use this blue one because it's so dark, and then we'll use this little notepad that I just showed you. I don't want to see the scraggliness in the in-between. Okay, so do you see what I'm talking about? How that looks like a crayon? I did not like that. So I would press a lot harder, and then I would rub it in to make it smooth. So there's a huge difference in the amount of pressing on this one and this one. And this is what I was doing on the bottom here until October, November-ish, when I realized that I was pressing way too freaking hard. So that being said, I knew that that was a me problem and not these highlighters problem. So I simply changed my behaviors, okay? That, and some of these colors are way more intense than others. So this dark blue, very intense. This purple can come and go. This pink and this pink, very intense. So I don't use those every day. Like if I really want to accent something or call it out or whatever, I'll go ahead. My hair's driving me nuts. I'll go ahead and use them, but I press a lot lighter and then I just gently smooth it out. And if I see the little crayon looking see-through, that's just what we're going to see, because the Bible that I'm using this year is like It's my rebound Bible. It's the one that I've been studying with for years. I want to be able to continue using this for years. So I do still really like these. You just have to be smart how you use them. So yeah, these two go in my front pocket and I use them every single day. Then we have my Bible. And I don't remember the name of the person that made this. She's on Instagram, something planner or something. I'll try and look her up. But because my Bible is rebound, it wigged me out and I didn't want to just have it loosey-goosey in that big bag. I just felt like I don't know. I just felt like it opened it up for potential damage. And yes, we are to be in the Word, and if I spill coffee on it, it is what it is, and like all the things. But like, I don't want to go out of my way to just not take care of it at the same time. So this is my yellow Pokemon Bible. I did have this made specifically by Cherry Hill Bibles, and I added this little envelope back here, so that's on me. But he did the pages for me. I printed out the end pages and everything, but he installed them when he did the rebind. He also did I did the tabs, but he did the gilding on the edge. It started out silver, which is obviously rubbing off, but he added the red. And I just love this Bible. So a couple things that I've done with this Bible. Every year I put the word of the year up here in the front. And then when it came to like the books of the Bible, I hand wrote first and then didn't like it. So then I added the stickers of like what they are and what they mean and everything. And then I obviously have the tabs. I know it's indexed, but I don't like the index. So I added the tabs anyway. But then something interesting is I printed out How to Faith a Life. Her, you guys, I don't remember what this is called, but her book headers, okay? And so she's got information on each book and what you're about to read, but also on several of the books, because this is my Pokemon Bible, I picked a Pokemon picture that I felt related. And so to me, this was just so Genesis, because this is us in our human, fallen, sinful state being like, that apple, or whatever it was, sure does look delicious, and the Lord's holding out on me. Look at how much he wants that. Look at how excited he is about it. So on some of the books, not every book of the Bible, I found things that I thought were correlated, interesting, cute, whatever, and I added them. So for Exodus, to me, that just encapsulates Exodus, right? And the Egyptian stuff and the wandering in the desert and all the things. Leviticus, this one's kind of interesting. For those of you that don't know Pokemon lore, this is like the god in Pokemon. Let's just stop right there. A whole bunch of people are about to comment that I've got demons in my Bible and this, that, and the other. I don't agree with you. So I also don't think that he's God, right? Like it's a fictional world and it's their version of God. But I thought that the art did a good job of showing I'm going to say holiness, but the separation, we are not the same. Okay. And so Leviticus spends most of the time talking about laws that remind us that we are not the same and that God is holy. And there's all of these things that we now have to do to even be able to talk to him because he is that set apart. Right. So I don't know. Some of this. So like then Joshua, I don't know. I just thought that was cute. It made sense to me. Let me show you. Is it Ruth? Yeah, how freaking cute are they? Okay, they just love each other, and it's just like Ruth and Boaz. So I just, at the beginning of the books, I put her, the How to Faith a Life, whatever it's called that I'm blanking on, and then some different pictures of Pokemon stuff. I just thought that was cute. Like there's a sticker in there. Like I love this Bible. This is the Bible I've had it since 2018 or 2019. I sent it out to get rebound in 2020. Excuse me. And aside from last year, I specifically read the other Bible the whole year. But anytime I wanted to study something out, I still pulled this one out. Oh, I didn't even tell you. This is and we didn't put it on the spine. This is the Tony Evans Study Bible. I recommend this wholeheartedly. I think he's got 2 or 3 versions at this point. When I first got it, he only had the CSB, the Christian Standard Bible, I think. Let's see if it says. Yes, Christian Standard Bible. Now I think he's got NASB and maybe ESV. I could be making that up. But he definitely has a few more versions. I don't care what version you get. This Bible has been revelatory, mind-blowing. Obviously the word is the word, and so that's going to be in no matter what. But I found it very insightful, the study notes that he puts in there. I'm going to trigger some people. There is a reel on Instagram, and it's like, it's one person saying, tell me something you think is in the Bible that actually isn't. And then somebody else reacts and they say, white people. And then everybody else goes, oh! And so I always die. Every time I see that, it makes me laugh so freaking hard. But like for real though, I feel like in today's America, a lot of people are reading the Bible as though every single character in here is white, and it's only talking to white people, and may the white people be blessed, okay? And that's not true. So what I find very interesting is that for all different nationalities, he points out what they are. So when you're in this place of Egypt, this is generally the color that that person would have been. Their heritage, their this, that, and the other. But when you're in this part of Ethiopia, this is what their heritage would likely have been. But not only that, what is his name? One of the sons of Noah, we know for a fact, was black, had dark skin. So then when we do the genealogies or whatever, it doesn't actually matter that this person is living in whatever place they're living in now, but because we know for a fact what the genealogy is, we know at least what color is included, whether it stayed or whether it, mixed around or whatever. I don't think I'm doing a good job at this, so I apologize. Just read Tony Evans. He does a really good job of explaining it. But I think that's really important as you're reading things to understand we have always all not looked the same. We have always, this is a diverse world because that is the way that the Lord made it, okay? And so let's celebrate our diversities. Let's celebrate our differences, all the things. So I just love that he points some of that out. And quite frankly, he points out some things of this is what we need to do to step it up. And I appreciate that. So he also, I didn't bring it out here because I don't use it every day. He also has a commentary. So if you have a different Bible that you already love, you can just buy the Tony Evans Study Bible Commentary. The Tony Evans Bible Commentary. I don't know if it says study in there. And it's all of the same notes as to what's in here. Maybe a little bit more thorough. I've tried to compare them and it looks pretty much same. So obviously it's a ton smaller at the bottom of these pages and it's bigger and you've got, more room to highlight and stuff in the commentary. But I just love it. I love it a whole lot. So then you might have noticed that this was on top of this when I pulled out my Bible bag. And this is just my little calendar that tells me what I read on what day. And so as you can see, starting December 24th, Christmas Eve, I read every day. And then January, I read every day. And then February, I read every day. And then March happened. And I don't really have an excuse for myself, so I'm not going to give one. But no condemnation, Romans 8:1, okay? So we're just going to get back into it. So don't let that stop you. Like, I don't know if you're like me and a little bit anal, OCD, all the things. I could look at that and be like, well, guess who's never reading the Bible again? Me, because I failed. And that's just end, done, end of story, all the things. Don't do that. Just get right back into it. He's going to welcome you back with open arms. He's not actually mad at you. You're just disappointed with yourself, okay? So, but this really helps me. It's just like the honeycomb. It's just another thing that not incentivizes me, but helps me to stay motivated. I want to fill out what I read. I don't want to have missing days. Last year, I was very consistent in reading the Bible, but it was not a daily situation. I would skip days here and there. I skipped at least a day, probably 2, every single week. And that was no problem for me. And then on the weekend, I would just catch up. So I stayed on track with where I was supposed to be in my reading, but it was not I have to read the Bible today. And this year, I don't want to be very law-ish and, Jesus isn't going to love me if I don't do these things because that is not true. Read the Gospels. but I wanted to make him more of a priority, and I wanted to spend more of my time with him. So that's why I am encouraging myself to be in his word daily. And it's always beneficial, you guys. It's just good for you. This doesn't benefit him. It's just good for you. But anyways, so that's my Bible. And then the inside pocket, I just have a couple things. I have the stamp that I was telling you about, and this is also from Illustrated Faith. I got it at the same time that I got this bag years ago. And what's funny about that is that this is the last year that I can use it, because it goes up to, you're probably not gonna be able to see it because I haven't wiped it off, 2025. And that's all she wrote. Technically, there's a blank spot. Like, I could move this and put in like the nothing, and then I could handwrite in the year, but I'm not going to do that, because that, I put this way too far in the opposite direction. There we go, back to 2025. That will throw me off, okay? I would rather either handwrite the whole thing or stamp the whole thing. I don't want to do a mix and mix every day. I don't know why, it just wigs me out. So I will get a new stamp for next year. This is the ink that I've been using. It is the Brilliance Pigment Ink Galaxy Gold. I just happened to find this at a Michael's, and what I will say is it's very wet. There's a lot of ink in it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very thick. So it's, thankfully there's a plastic cover on it. I think that's going to help it last a lot longer, but it's a very thick pigment. It's not, like, I feel like the black is just like runny, and this is definitely like a gel pen. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's just the ink that I just picked for absolutely no reason. And then I've got another little notepad with Pikachu, and I really thought that I was going to write tons of even this length notes and put in my Bible, but when I do, I just squeeze it into the margins. So this is there because every day when I go to use my favorite blue pen that I already showed you, you need to get it going, right? And so both sides are just me getting it going. But then when I do actually have a note, I can just skip to the next page, rip it out, and add it in my Bible. So I love having this because I freaking love Pikachu. So that's it. We've once again talked a long time together, but I have my stamp and ink that I use every single day. I have my notepad that I use every day to get my blue pen going. I have my Bible that I use every day. And then I have my highlighters that I use every day. That's it. Look at how easy that is. And you don't even have to have two sets of highlighters. You can use the same set of highlighters in both books. I'm just being extra. And they also happen to fit in the same pocket, so it's no big deal. And the inside of this, there's two pockets split down the middle, so it's perfect. I can keep the stamp in one side, and then the paper and the ink in the other side, so that the stamp doesn't get everything dirty. I don't think I showed you, but look at my cute little Detective Pikachu that I just added to my little Bible. But yeah, and then I just fit the Bible back in, and she's good to go. So I just wanted to show you guys my condensed, what's working for me for my devotions. My husband doesn't take any notes. He reads and he comprehends is not the right word. Thinks about it, chews it up, whatever. I like to write things down that I didn't know, because then I'm like, oh, next time I read this, I want to already know that, and I want to remember that, so that I'm not just learning the same thing over and over again. But also, the Lord speaks to me differently. So today, he might tell me one thing, and then 2 years from now, I'm feeling very dry. I'm in a hard season, all the things, and then I go back and I see, God really spoke to me, and he did it 2 years ago at this time, and in this verse, and then it's going to minister to me all over again. So I'm not going to remember every single thing that he whispers to me every day when I'm in my devotions the next time I read it, or when I might need it specifically in that season. But by his grace, I can just write it in there, and then it's going to minister to me when it needs to. So I don't know. That's my setup right now. That's how I'm doing my devotions. As I said, I do it at the kitchen table. I used to actually do it in here in my Pokemon room, but I was so separate from my husband, and I can spend a long time doing it, depending upon the day. The breakout in the daily recap isn't, you don't have to spend a long time doing it, but sometimes I like to do multiple days, because whatever chunk I'm in, I'm like, oh, I really want this whole narrative. I don't want to break it up. So then I spend longer doing it, right? But when I was in here doing it at my desk, which is over there, excuse me, we were very separated. We were in different rooms and everything. But also when he would interrupt me, it would irritate me. And it would feel like, oh, no, I have to get back into it and like da da da. And it just, it did not feel good. It did not feel like I was treating him well. It did not feel like I was treating the Bible well. It definitely made me feel like I just shouldn't be doing my devotions because it was starting to become like a thing. And then I was like, why am I being so separate about it? So I surely did, and this was now 2+ years ago, pull my Bible out to the kitchen table one day and I just sat there and read it. And then he'll be watching something or doing his own thing and randomly be like, oh, hey, babe, da 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 da. And I stop what I'm doing and I listen and we have a full conversation. Then I go back because I'm sitting right there and it's not this big like imposition or whatever. And sometimes he'll look over and realize and be like, oh, sorry, I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, I'm at a good spot. Go ahead. Like, let's talk about it. Sometimes my brain's just being ADD. And so I read a few sentences, talk about something, read a few sentences, talk about something. But we're so much more connected now when doing that. And I just feel like it's just a true part of my life at this point. Like, he knows that I'm going to read the Bible every day. He's actually the one that encouraged me when I stopped for a few days. He was like, that's not like you. Like, I know that this is good for you. I know that you enjoy this, whatever. So he's been very encouraging for that. He's started doing his devotions now and reading the Bible. As I said, he's reading the one that I finished last year. I don't know. It's just a much more, I don't know how to explain it because I don't think that I went into it with bad intentions, but when I did it in this room, for some reason, it felt very much like a show. Like I have to set up all of these things. I have to have all of this stuff with me. Cause I had my whole desk filled with like art supplies and stuff that I don't even use, like whatever. And it's just this, it was a whole production every day. Well, that meant that I didn't do it. Right. And that because it was a production is why it was more inconvenient if he interrupted me or something. And I was like, this just isn't sustainable and I don't like it. And it's not necessary. Okay. So I enjoyed pivoting to the kitchen table. It's just the two of us. So it doesn't matter that I take up that little corner. And it's just become honestly a part of our day. It's now just very normal for us to interact while I'm doing that, et cetera, and so forth. So I would encourage you, I am not a morning person. People say all the time, just wake up an hour early, just wake up half an hour early. It's not going to happen. If I set my alarm 30 to 60 minutes early, all I'm going to do is snooze that and go back to bed. But now I'm going to be irritated because that last hour is not nearly as good because it was interrupted by an alarm that I did not get up for, right? If you're a morning person, good for you. If you're a night person, good for you. What works for me is to either do it on my lunch break or immediately after work. So we log out, he starts cooking dinner, I start reading the Bible, period. And it just works really well. Now, obviously there's some days that doesn't. There's some days that we're both in office, that maybe we have plans after work, this, that, and the other. And so now I have to actively and intentionally squeeze it in somewhere else, but I at least have a really good rhythm for just your regular average day. So I encourage you to read your Bible where you're actually going to read it, to read it at a time that's actually convenient for you and that you're actually going to read it, and to read the version that you understand. My favorite version is the New Living Translation, the NLT. If Tony Evans ever comes out with an NLT, best believe I'm gonna buy it, even though I love this one. You know what I'm saying? It's my preferred version. But read whatever version speaks to you. At the end of the day, this is his love letter to us. And as I said, he's not up there needing us to read it because it's like the clausometer. You know, we don't have enough Christmas spirit down here, and so Santa Claus up there can't fly. Like, that's not what's happening with this, right? It is purely a benefit for us. So I just encourage you to remember that. I encourage you to be encouraged by the word. And to just, I don't know, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your setup is, when you like to read it, et cetera, and so forth. And I hope that this helps somebody. So have a great day.